Welcome back to California Cooking. Today's menu is packed with flavor. We're talking melt-in-your-mouth scones, sweet and spicy goat cheese stuffed jalapeños, and fresh Greek-inspired zucchini skewers. First up, meet Danielle Sepsy, aka the Scone Queen, who has so much to celebrate right now. She's got a New York Times best-selling baking book. Her crave-worthy scones and baked goodies are taking over LA, and she's also expecting a baby. Here's more on her story.
I'm Chef Danielle Sepsy, and I am the Scone Queen. I became the Scone Queen because when I was 13 years old, I created this very scone recipe out of my childhood home. And my parents said, these are the best scones we've ever had. And I started to go to different coffee shops and bagel shops in my town on Long Island, New York, and give samples, and everybody wanted to sell them. And so at 13 years old, I was in business, and it sort of just stuck with me throughout my life and always knew I'd come back to it. And in 2020, I unexpectedly lost my job. And it was the best thing that ever happened to me because I was able to start my bakery, The Hungry Gnome, in New York City. And now we make over 15,000 scones and muffins and cookies every single day. I got into baking from a very young age because I had a grandmother, Rosemary, who was an amazing home baker. And when I was 8 years old, she saw that I had so much passion for it, and she bought me a subscription to Martha Stewart magazine and a KitchenAid stand mixer. And it was the best gift I could have ever received because it really got me in the kitchen experimenting, creating recipes. And it just brought me so much joy and peace and a sense of control. And I loved it so much. And I knew that it was something I wanted to do forever, but I had smart parents that told me, go to college, learn how to run a business. So I went to hospitality management school at Penn State University. Now my bakery, The Hungry Gnome, sells to over 300 businesses every single day from some of the best coffee shops in New York. And even we sell biscuits to JetBlue, but it is super surreal to see people, when I just walk down the street sometimes in New York City, I see people enjoying my baked goods on every corner. I was so lucky to have the opportunity to write a cookbook. It's called The Scone Queen Bakes. It came out 2 weeks ago and has become a New York Times bestseller, which is just, I'm pinching myself every day, but I'm sharing some of my biggest secrets in baking, from the scones to some of my muffins, cookies, cakes, cinnamon buns. It has 100 of my cherished recipes, and you can get it now online and have it shipped right to you and try the recipes at home. My favorite recipes in the book, the chocolate chip scone, of course, the one that sort of started it all. And then you have the blueberry crumb muffin. It's actually my #1 seller for the bakery. People think it's a scone, but the blueberry muffin I actually sell more of. It's a fluffy, moist, sour cream-based muffin, reminiscent of a New York style crumb cake. I love the chocolate, date, and tahini cinnamon buns. It has that cinnamon bun, shopping mall cinnamon bun nostalgia, but it has some elevated flavors, and it's really special, and people go crazy for them. I am so honored to be a chef in residence for the Peninsula of Beverly Hills all the way through May 3rd. My sweets from my book, The Scone Queen Bakes, are on the afternoon tea menu. I have had such a love for the Peninsula brand for years because actually about 8 or 9 years ago, I worked for the Peninsula New York. It is such an elevated, beautiful experience. The room is stunning. There's a harpist every day. It is just such a warm and inviting living room here. And you can have the sweets, amazing tea sandwiches. One of my favorites being the chicken salad on raisin bread. It is chef's kiss. And some of my other favorites from my book, from the Nutella pound cake to my grandma Rosemary's Italian rainbow cookies, to a mini version of my French toast monkey bread, and a bright and lemony lemon icebox bar. It'll be here till May 3rd. The chocolate chip scones, the scones in general, what makes them so special? It is really the texture. They're crisp on the edge, and they have a fluffy, moist, buttery inside. I think traditionally people think of scones as being really dry and bland, and they need all the clotted cream really just to get it down. But these really stand alone. They are just super enjoyable. They're flavorful. People keep coming back for more. I'm gonna show you all where it started. The chocolate chip scone, the recipe I created when I was just 13 years old. And it starts with good old all-purpose flour. Then I've got some sugar, salt. We always need a pop of salt. When we have sweet, it really elevates the flavors, and some baking powder to make sure to get a beautiful rise. We mix that together. And then my favorite ingredient of all time, and that is butter. Everything is better with butter. We've got some very cold, unsalted butter. That is one of the most important things to making a perfect scone. Make sure your butter is very cold. And then we use either a pastry cutter, but if you don't have that, use a bench scraper, even use 2 butter knives. And we're just cutting the butter into the dry ingredients until we see that the butter is about the size of a lentil. You can even get in there with your hands, but if the butter starts to get too soft, you pop it in the freezer for a couple minutes. You want it re-solidified and nice and cold before you add the rest of your ingredients. So I'm just gonna get in there with my hands. Your hands are your best tool sometimes. So now our butter is incorporated. You can see there's still little flecks of butter throughout, but not massive chunks, just small pea-sized to lentil-sized pieces. And now we're ready for our chocolate chips. Semi-sweet chocolate chips, nice and melty, sweet but not too sweet. Mix that in. And now our wet ingredients. We've got heavy cream. It's fatty. It adds a lot of moisture, richness. Egg yolks. That's one of my secrets, okay? I'm giving you the secret. 2 egg yolks and some pure vanilla extract. I'm a stickler about the extract. I don't like to use artificial. Pure is always the way. Has a beautiful flavor and aroma. And now we incorporate it into our dough. So we make a little well. We add our wet ingredients in the center. And then we just incorporate from the sides, just adding it until it becomes what we call in pastry, this is actually a technical term, a shaggy dough ball. So we're not over mixing, we're just bringing it together until we can gather it into a disc and then cut it up into our perfect triangular shapes. Here we go. So we don't want to knead our dough. So the more that you manipulate a dough that has a flour like all-purpose that contains gluten, the more the gluten develops, the more it gets tough and dense. So you just want to squeeze it a few times just so you can get it into that disc, but we're not kneading it as if it's a bread dough. And we have got our shaggy dough ball, as I was saying. Now we can gather it into a disc. We want it to be about 6 inches in diameter so that it has a nice thickness. We want it thick. We don't want a flat, sad scone. We're going to cut it into 8 perfect scones, like a pizza, and then our egg wash. Just a simple egg wash, some turbinado sugar or sugar in the raw. This will create that beautiful crackled finish, and we are ready to put on our tray. Here's one of the most important things to making a perfect scone. It's making sure your oven is hot enough. So if your baked goods are spreading a lot, people actually think the opposite. They think they need to lower their oven, that their baked good is melting because the oven's too hot. Not true. The higher the oven, the more you're gonna lock in that shape initially. Think about when you're searing a piece of meat or a meatball and you're locking in the shape. Same concept. So I start at 400 degrees. We bake it for about 12 minutes. Establish that shape, get that rise, get that color, then lower it to 350 midway, and then just finish it just so we can cook it through delicately for about 5 or 6 more minutes, and we will be ready to enjoy our perfect chocolate chip scones. And look, the magic of television, we have perfect scones already ready to go. Look at that golden color on the outside. That sugar is sparkly and has a beautiful finish. The inside, super flaky. That butter that we cut in earlier, it created these layers. It is a perfect, perfect scone, and I hope you guys try it at home.
Coming up, things get sweet and spicy and seriously irresistible as I make goat cheese stuffed jalapenos, plus Greek-inspired zucchini skewers. Okay, this might sound like an unexpected combo, but trust me, these goat cheese stuffed jalapenos, topped with fresh blueberries and a drizzle of honey, are next level good. You're just gonna have to try them for yourself. It is spring season, and you start to think of lighter and fruitier flavors, and I have the blueberries and the lemons and a little fresh thyme. And we're gonna make something that you might think, well, now you've lost it. Now this is just too crazy. I saw this recipe, and a friend of mine made something similar, and I thought this could be really kind of interesting. I happen to love stuffed jalapenos. Usually stuffed jalapenos have a cheddar and they're served around Super Bowl time. But this is kind of an elevated stuffed jalapeno that I think would be so perfect if you're having friends over and you just want a light bite, or if you're going to a party and you want to bring something that's different but kind of fun and has some spring flavors. So we're gonna see how this goes. We're gonna stuff our jalapenos with a mixture of goat cheese and cream cheese. And I'm gonna mix the goat cheese and the cream cheese together. I'm gonna stuff the jalapeno, and then I'm gonna stuff it with some fresh blueberries, pop it in the oven with some thyme. When they come out all soft and bubbly, you're gonna drizzle some honey on top. You could put some chopped nuts for a little crunch. So it's a sweet, spicy, savory situation. I tend to like the bigger ones because they're easier to stuff. There were not big ones today. They were just kind of tiny. So the way I'm gonna kind of get around that is I'm just gonna take a slice off the top. You can take your knife, but you wanna get the seeds out because you wanna make that little boat where you can stuff it and get all those seeds out, which are, gonna be too spicy for what we wanna do. Put it on our little baking sheet, and we'll do as many as you see fit, but this would be kind of a nice little snack with a glass of wine. Now we are on to our filling. So I've got some goat cheese, plain, and some cream cheese, equal parts. And really, if you can get them to room temperature, that would be better. It'll be easier to mix things up. Get these two incorporated. So we've got that mixed. I think it would be nice to do, just to lighten and brighten it up, some lemon zest into our cheese mixture. A piping bag would actually be a good thing to maybe get the filling into the jalapenos, but I'm just gonna spoon it in. I've got the oven pretty high. I've got it at 400, small spoon, and you just get it in there as best you can. And then you take your beautiful spring berries and you just nestle them in there, as many as you want. And you just keep going down the line. Now I'm gonna drizzle it with some olive oil, a little bit of salt sprinkled on top. Salt on fruit makes the flavor even better. And then I've got some fresh thyme that I'm just gonna sprinkle on top. You don't have to be fussy with it. Now we're going in the oven, I would say at least 15 minutes, but we'll check on them. I smell the jalapeno. Oh my goodness, so the goat cheese is all melted, the blueberries kind of burst open, the jalapenos are soft and tender. And then how I'm gonna top them is I have some toasted pecans for a little crunch. Give it some texture so not everything is soft when you bite into it. And just sprinkle that over the top. And then I think the most interesting part is a drizzle of honey. Hot honey is all the rage. This is quite literally. You've got the spicy hot jalapeno, and then just a little more of our fresh thyme. Oh my gosh, I can't wait to taste these. Oh. This is right up my alley. I snuck a taste. They're really good. The only thing you want, I think, hit them with a little bit of salt at the end. Don't be afraid to go heavy on the honey, and I even hit it with a little lemon. They're really good. They were spicy, but not too spicy, and the goat cheese kind of cools things off, and the blueberries are sweet. it's interesting. And the nuts give it that little, kind of all the things. I have to say, it's really kind of a fun take on a stuffed jalapeno. Your friends may think you're nuts, but don't knock it till you tried it. Coming up, we're keeping things light, fresh, and perfect for spring with Greek-inspired zucchini skewers. If you love summer zucchini, especially when it's grilled, this is one of those recipes you'll be coming back to all summer long. We are entering grilling season. The weather's getting warmer. You're thinking about what can I put on the grill? And I always love the idea of a skewer because I think it looks fun and it's easy enough to do, but I always like to kind of experiment with different ingredients. And this one is using halloumi cheese, which I've never cooked with before. It's a Greek cheese and it's firm. So if you grill it, it gets the nice grill marks, but it doesn't melt and fall apart on the grill, and it gets a little chewy, it's very salty. And I thought it would be fun to do that with zucchini on the skewer and then top it with a very herby kind of a sauce. Really, it's just assembling and then you pop it on the grill. I'm gonna do indoor grilling today, but if you do outdoor grilling, you wanna soak your skewers because otherwise they catch on fire. So that's just a little tip. Soak them in water for a little bit so they don't burn. And then for our sauce that we're gonna drizzle on top when they come off the grill, I've got some fresh dill, I've got basil, parsley, whatever you like. And then I'm just gonna blend it up in the food processor with some olive oil, lemon, and make a little sauce. First thing, let's check out this cheese. So I'm just gonna cube that up. And then along with that, we're gonna do some zucchini. But the way I'm gonna do the zucchini, because you want everything to cook at the same rate. So if I did a big chunk of zucchini, the zucchini would be hard and the cheese would be done. The way we're gonna get around that is I'm gonna take my mandolin, which you could use a knife, but a mandolin gives you kind of nice, even slices, but is super scary to use. So I use the guard so you don't hurt yourself. Maybe I'll cut it in half first. Cut it in half again. Just cut it up into cubes. First thing, you just kind of stack up your zucchini. You could also, if you want to make it a little more pliable, you could pop these on a paper towel in the microwave, get them a little bit softer. If you want, you just do kind of curls like that, see, pretty. And then you do a piece of the halloumi cheese, like that. And then you go back in with your zucchini. And it looks very pretty, doesn't it? Little veggie ribbons. And then we'll do one more piece, and there you go. And we'll just keep going down the line. So our skewers are done. And if you want to do more, just buy more cheese, or you could make them smaller pieces. I did 4 just for now to show you how it's done. And then to make the sauce, get out the food processor to make it easy and make a really fresh herby sauce to go on these when they're done. To the food processor here, we're gonna do a nice handful of parsley. We're gonna do a bunch of dill. And if you have extra, great. You could use it on pasta, chicken, fish, fresh basil going in. And because I happen to have fresh jalapeno, I'm gonna put in a little bit of heat. Got a clove of garlic in there, some good extra virgin olive oil, nice fat pinch of salt, fresh lemon juice, probably do a whole lemon, and then taste it, see how we're doing. Lid goes on. Okay, gonna let that sit. We're gonna take these back to the grill and get them grilled up. Time to grill up our skewers. You want a really hot grill pan because this is gonna cook quickly. You really just want the lines, the grill marks. Just so things don't stick, I'm gonna rub some oil on the grill. Looks pretty hot. So I'm gonna drizzle my skewers. Tiny bit of salt because that cheese is salty, and then we're also going, you kind of just want the zucchini to get the salt, not really the cheese. All right, find that hot spot on the grill. Look at that, beautiful, gorgeous marks. And then I'll show you how we finish it. Before we dress our skewers, I forgot one thing in our sauce, fresh mint. And mint goes so well with zucchini and this Greek cheese, so I need to get that mint in there. And now you can see the halloumi cheese is grilled, but it's not melted, but it's nice and warm. And then our zucchini is browned and it's wilted a little, which is exactly what you want. And then what I do, I think just to finish things off, I don't know, it just adds this beautiful brightness, is this lovely little sauce. It tastes like spring, honestly, these flavors. And then I think a little of the lemon squeezed over. Just to make it pretty, you could tuck in some of your mint leaves. The next time you have your barbecue, you bust these out. But I think your guests are gonna love it. For the recipes we featured today, you can follow us at KTLA California Cooking. That does it for us. Thanks for watching. See you next time.